Terry Brazier, I'm from Denham, Uxbridge, Middlesex. I fight for Bellator MMA. I'm in San Diego for my camp, just really for my loyalty to Eric Uresk, wherever he is in the world, that's where I go training. So we've moved from Thailand, now he's over at Alliance MMA, so I followed him over. So my PTSD started or got triggered in Afghanistan, Op Herrick 13, 2010, 2011. So basically, before you go to Afghan, you're told a very diluted version of events that goes on out there, and nothing can really prepare you for it. You know, nothing can prepare you for death in that manner. You know, I've seen people die natural causes and stuff like that. You know, that's hard enough, but when it's murder, I guess, and when you're very hands-on with it, it's a different scenario, and it's something that, you know, sort of haunts me to this day. There's a couple of kids out in Afghan had trod on IEDs, improvised explosive devices, left for us, and these kids were playing and trod on them. So one of these kids, they were around about the same age as my children back home in England. One of the kids was completely like blown in half from the waist down. The other lad had his bollocks blown off, lumps of his legs missing, lump of his head missing, a hole in his chest, just like insane injuries that you can't. It's madness. So I ended up carrying one of these kids on my own, and there's so much blood. It was like head to toe. Our camouflage kit was like black in blood. Do you know what I mean? We were trying to save these kids' lives, and they're like hanging onto you. And just absolute madness. And at the time, you just deal with it. You know, you're not thinking about anything, so you're just trying to deal with it. Obviously, I was medic trained at the time as well, so I was airborne infantry, but 1 out of 4 of you are medic trained, obviously, for these situations. So I was all sort of trying to deal with it. That moment passed, we carried on fighting for the rest of the tour. One of the days I swapped positions with one of my mates. It's the same, I was always the 3rd man as the machine gunner, and he was like the 6th man. But for one day we swapped, and that day we swapped, he got shot. So it's just fucked up shit happened out there. And then it's only when I come back that everyone noticed that I was different. Obviously, you're going to be different, but I was, you know, the nightmares and the flashbacks. Last night, actually, I fucking took too much melatonin, and melatonin increases like dreams, puts you in a deep sleep. You're supposed to have 3 squirts, but fucking as me, I had 6 squirts last night, and last night I was having the same dreams and flashbacks. It's mad. It's just something that just stuck in my head, do you know what I mean? And it just changed your way of thinking, changed your outlook on life. It's weird. You can't describe it. You know, certain things that trigger it, you'd be fine for months, and then, you know, you have 2 weeks every day, it just haunt you. So it's strange, because the brain is so powerful in both ways. It can make you perform like supernatural powers, but at the same time it can also put you down to, you could be the fittest, strongest man on earth, but if your brain's not with it, you're not going to perform. So it's made me learn a lot about myself, and then over the years sort of been working with it, dealing with it. I know how to cope with it a bit more now. MMA is definitely my coping mechanism. If I don't train, then it's a lot worse, so obviously I train as much as I can. Yeah, you know, I'm at the stage now where I can manage it. I'm mature enough, old enough, and had it long enough that I can manage it. Do you know what I mean? It's not ideal, but it's part of me, and it's part of where I've got to today. And I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have pushed certain days that I have done, and you know, and had that drive to be where I am without that. So you know, I wouldn't change it. It's, you know, it's part of me now. So, but you know, it's getting better, not worse. So We went hiking yesterday, got to this waterfall and ended up, there's these 3 girls there. So we ended up talking to these girls. Turns out they're surf coaches, and on talking to them about it, it turns out that they treat PTSD with surfing. So and then it come out that I've got PTSD, and you know, and we got talking. They've invited us along today to do one of their sessions, and yeah, you know, experience the session that they give to people that they treat with PTSD. So I'm hoping, obviously, it's going to help me and just have a good day out. A couple of boys from the gym are coming. So yeah, it's going to be interesting and funny because I can't surf. So we're gonna go give it a go and hopefully not drown. Shit, we're gonna drown.
Let's see how you hold your board. If you pass the test.
Put my lighter down. I would copy you, but you've got a thinner board than me.
This is a test on maybe take a moment to look at the board.
Yeah. Got to use your noggin.
Oh, look at that noggin use. Well done.
Wait, there's a thing in the
There's a
middle.
handle.
Yeah, there's a handle too. In the middle of the board.
You're gonna get there.
Oh shit.
Good job. You got there.
Yeah, you
Teamwork. Teamwork.
It's a good start. You know, I'm willing to give it a go. No, but you know, she obviously treats PTSD with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We're about to find out how. But it was interesting that I met her. I'm getting the opportunity to try it, and if it helps PTSD, then you know, got to get in anything to go.
So if you want to put the nose of your board towards mine, so we'll make like a sunshine.
Yeah, we're gonna do a circle.
Yeah. You can even.
We've got to explain to Brendan what's going on, because he's going to think, what the fuck has he signed up to? Right, Brendan, you haven't got to pay to be in this club. We're about to sing Kumbaya.
Put the nose of your board right.
Well, I want to welcome you to your new best friend. This is your surfboard. You can name it if you would like. But we're going to do a little walk around just to get used to your new best friend, your surfboard, your yoga mat. And so walk forward towards your nose. Let your toes hang off the edge, very nice. This is called a hang 10. You are already professional surfers. Look behind you. What do you notice the board's doing? Going up. That means that there's a rocker on the board. And so the rocker actually helps you. It's the same shape as the wave, and so that's what holds you into the wave. Without a rocker, you just nosedive, nosedive, nosedive. Yeah. And so when you're trying to find your sweet spot on the board, you want to walk on back and notice, where does the board start laying flat on the earth and feel most stable? Exactly. Bingo. So for y'all, you have the little handhold right in the middle of your board. And so that's basically your middle zone. And so
is it better to stand with your feet next to each other? What's that good?
That is one way to do it.
What, like that?
Your whole foot is connected to the board, connected to the earth, connected to the ocean. And that's what's going to connect you to the experience and to your body. And so inhale our arms up high. We're going to start involving our breath into our movements. And we're going to be having our breath and our body guide us through the whole process. And so the beauty of this is that you already know how to surf. Your body already knows how to balance, how to walk, how to move around. And now you're just going to be doing it on water. So really today is just about listening to your body rather than listening to your brain. Oh, no. Stingrays win too. And so when you're walking into their home, and so instead of, like, if you're going to someone's house, you don't just barge through the front door, you knock, right? And so our way of knocking to let the stingrays know that we're coming, you shuffle your feet, and that lets the stingrays know that you're coming, and they scatter away.
The stingrays
are you this time of year now?
They might still be around. It's a really sandy bottom here, and it's a river mouth, and so they like here a little.
That'll disturb them.
Yeah, just like this. And it,
you don't want to. Don't go like this.
Yeah. Basically, it'd be like if you walked into someone's house and stepped on their face. What would you do if someone stepped on your face? Yeah.
Exactly. You should be going in there.
But if someone stepped on your face, what would you do? If someone stepped on my face, I would.
No, 100%. I'm not denying that, but I'm just denying the fact that, mate, should we just let him be? I don't want to get stung. Yeah, let's do that. Just be a good surfer.
Perfect. And so we have stingrays, and then what else is out there besides sharks?
Where they at?
We'll be fine. They're fine.
Where they at?
We have each other.
Yeah, there's people.
So you're gonna be a wave. Can you be a wave?
Look at, do your wave.
Okay, come towards me. Be a wave. If I'm walking towards you like this, and the wave hits me, I'm gonna get knocked out by my board and probably take everybody out behind me. But if I come at you like this, I'm gonna stab right through you and keep on going. So you always want to have the nose of your board pointed towards the face of the wave. So that way you're conducting your energy straight towards it rather than getting hit by the side. And then, oh, we forgot the best part of surfing. Everyone back down on your bellies. This is the most important part. Once again, tucking our toes. Here comes our wave paddle, nice and strong. Let's do it really slow, actually. Nice slow motion. Inhaling. Exhaling. Surf it, love it, maybe do a couple turns. And then guess what happens after every single wave? You fall. You looked at the book earlier, how do you fall?
Lost in my head.
Like a shark. So part of the therapy experience is a lot of embodiment and involving our body in all the things we do to help us communicate and show love and express each other and connect. And so one of our embodiments is you literally, like you pretend your heart is the ocean and our ocean is full. And so we're giving waves of love to the person that just shared, that's saying, I hear you, I see you, I honor what you just said, and then they get to receive it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So she,
and so you guys all have to do it.
You guys all do that.
You have to do it.
You guys all get to do that to me. Give your waves of love.
And your wave can be however you want it to look.
Yeah.
It can be a little
You can
ripple,
stylize
or it
it.
can be like, it can be a whole body roll.
He's a DJ waver. He's in the DJ booth.
This is the New York wave.
I'm gonna pass it to Brett.
I'm excited to be here on this beautiful day, learning something new, meeting new ladies like yourself that are really passionate about something. We're really passionate about what we do. Feel like it's all movement anyway, and buzzing to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
I want to leave training behind and have a mental break from what I do pretty much all the time and try something else new that I've never done before.
Us, give me your love, staff. Give me your love.
I like that.
No, I feel it's especially good for me because obviously I struggle with mental, like dealing, processing stuff anyway. So it's good to leave that behind, but also so close to the fight, a couple of weeks out. And it's nice to be told to leave it behind because no one ever tells you to like stop worrying about something for an hour. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice to be told to do that, I guess, and leave all the worries on the beach for an hour. So yeah, I'm happy. Just chill, just find some peace and quiet. Do you know what I mean? In my head, I guess. You know, for an hour, that'd be a blessing.
No, you gotta take it in.
Oh.
Come on, give him your love. Come on, DJ. There you go.
Oh, this is great.
I think I'd like to leave behind just I'm getting ready to drive up to LA. There's an International Surf Therapy Conference happening in LA this week, and so leaving behind the idea of traffic and preparing for that, and just have a chance to find play and laughter. And I love watching people do something new for their first time and experience being humbled and empowered and laughing and just having a great time together. So some joy is what I want. It's like you're walking your dog, it's always attached to you.
Oh, this is where it gets kinky, isn't it? She's like, all that peace and love, and it's like, right, we're going to tie you to surfboards and bum you.
Do you put your like that?
Whatever you did now.
camera. Oh, mate.
I got bashed by that last one. Once or twice is good. Yeah, no, it's mint. Mint to just go and do something different, isn't it?
You can circle up one more time.
Well, it's the soup, isn't it? Very broad.
Yeah, we forgot to tell you about that part.
Oh, what's that about? Is that from the sun or this?
No, it's from the board.
Oh, is it?
It's from the surfboard.
Oh. From the surfboard, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll put a little Vaseline. Should we take a knee? Is that what feels good?
Yeah.
Okay, take a knee, everybody. Yeah. So, first time surfing. You surfed before?
Yeah.
First time? Second time?
Yeah.
Second-ish? Okay. So, we'll do the go around one more time. What was one thing that Mother Ocean gave you out there? What did you receive from her?
A beating.
A beating.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great, I loved it. I can't explain it, I ain't got a word for it, but it was
Joy.
Yeah, there you go. Good one.
It's humbling, isn't it?
Humbling.
New experience.
An experience. Yeah. What did she teach you about yourself? Or reveal to you about yourself?
Balance.
Balance.
There's a lot of power in that, in what's
Yeah.
going on there. A lot. A lot.
Did you know, correct me if I'm wrong, you know like the salt lamp,
Yeah.
there's only two natural things that provide negative neons or neons, yeah, which calms the mind. One's salt lamps and one's a sea, the other one's a sea, the only natural things.
A salt one.
Yeah, you know Himalayan salt lamp?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, people have lights in them and it calms you down because it's the neons in it. And you only get that from Himalayan salt lamps and the sea.
Yep.
Did you know that?
Yeah, they're doing studies right now on the
That's why it's
effects.
calming.
Yeah, they're doing studies on the
Science.
neurological effects of the ocean on people's brains. And so just by being in the water, near the water, even looking at a picture of the ocean has a neurological effect on your brain. And when you're in the womb, the saline solution that you're in your mother's womb is the same saline percentage as the ocean. And so when we're going into the ocean, you're literally going back into the womb. And so it's something familiar, something that's an experience of coming home. And so no matter like, even people that have had traumas in the ocean have had experience like family and friends drowning, even just coming into the ocean can help with that traumatic experience because it's an experience of coming home. Your body recognizes it even if your mind is afraid.
Is that how you linked it? Because you're qualified shrink, right? That's the right word for it. What's it called?
Yeah, yes.
I am small, but I'm not shrinking.
No.
I'm a marriage and family therapist.
Yeah, I don't know what you call it in America.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
So
mean?
yeah, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and my background's in using the arts for trauma recovery. But I was doing art therapy and recognized that surfing was my like natural art form and what I use for healing. And so instead of I was working with a group of women that were getting through sex trafficking and a lot of different sexual traumas, and so we brought them to the beach for one of the art projects instead of painting or clay. And the transformations that happened with them, especially with like being reconnected to your body, because a lot of times when trauma happens, we disconnect from our body in those experiences in order to keep ourselves safe. And so when we're able to go into the water like automatically snaps you into the present. And so you're not able to like have your brain thinking about all these different things. You're like, ocean, wave, hitting me, everything's in contact, all of your senses are being used. And so it brings you into the present moment and allows your brain to start reforming those neurological pathways that creates healing. And so when you experience trauma, your neurological pathways are like, that was a bad thing that happened, I never want that to happen again, so it separates. But it can be reconnected and re-healed through like almost like little trauma triggers that seem similar, but help you recognize that you are safe, you are strong, you are capable, and you can do that, and you can overcome it. And so that's why every wave, falling is a part of it, and an important part of it. Because if you didn't fall, if you didn't fail, you wouldn't heal. Because that falling aspect is the healing aspect, and recognizing like, okay, I can fall, but I'm still okay. I still overcame that, I'm still alive, I'm still safe, I'm still strong, and I can do it again and still be okay. And so that's why the ocean provides like so many different elements of healing.
We study waves all over the world where we want to go, and what we're like, we call it frothing, when you're like ready to go get a wave, you're like jonesing, you know, like excited. So that's called frothing.
In England, if you went up to a girl and went, "Are you frothing?" you'd probably get glassed. Yeah, in England it means a whole different thing.
Receive it. And then we'll bring the boards up, and if you see any like trash or anything on the beach as we walk up, make sure to pick that up, because that's a big way of giving her love. There's been more days this summer. We've been running programs here for the last 4 summers, and this summer was the first summer where we couldn't surf 3 of the days. Not because normally if it rains you can't surf afterwards, but it hadn't rained and we couldn't surf because the water pollution quality was so bad. And so the more that we can do on land to save her, the better it is. So yeah, if you see anything, pick it up.
Oh, fine, get your leash. Don't drag it. Let's try that again.
No.
Now we caught a few waves there though.
Hard, you know.
Wait, how do they do, you know, when they go horizontal onto the wave?
Yeah, how do you go along a wave?
You know when you just start
when you go
down the
yeah.
Well, you see on films.
Have you done that?
Yes.
Are you all over it? Yes, I've done that.
I've done them down the line.
You just go at an angle.
Just go at an angle. Hold up, you stood there with trousers on, right?
I know, I didn't think it through very well.
Buff, we need to do this.
It was donated by 2 different breweries in San Diego. And then Camp Life Customs helped us do this part. Jackie actually helped me like rip all the seats out. It was just a school bus, and so we were finding like kids' toys and stuff in it, and love notes. And then I built this, and it pulls out into a bed. So this is like my therapy office.
That's so cool.
So my background is in marriage and family therapy. And in that, I've had trainings in trauma recovery and trauma therapy, and specifically using the arts for trauma recovery. And I'm a trainer in for first aid arts, which goes into different locations that doesn't have a lot of therapy education around trauma. So like the Philippines after the tsunami came, and we went in and trained the local people that are taking care of the other people that have experienced the trauma on how to use the arts for trauma recovery, because lots of times when you talk about your trauma, like talking about it is re-traumatizing. And so the arts gives you an opportunity to express and heal without having to talk about it all the time. And it involves your body and your brain and community. And so it's a really powerful tool for trauma healing. And then with surfing, it's just so much fun. And so I was doing private practice and was referring all my clients to the ocean, and then finally I was like, you know, I'm just gonna start going with them, and started doing this with a group of 8 women from Generate Hope, which is a safe house for women that are getting out of sex trafficking. And the transformations that we saw with them just in the 8-week program that we were doing was amazing. Like women that wouldn't engage at all in the small group art therapy programs were talking to each other, connecting with each other, like seeing their bodies as powerful and strong rather than as sexualized objects, and recognizing like they can. And I've never heard enough, like I never thought I'd ever be able to surf, and if I can do this, like imagine what else I can do. And so yeah, it's exciting, and it's the new direction of therapy. Like we're doing research with UCSD right now to be able to collect data, to be able to show that it is a form of therapy. It's not just like some hippie magic bullshit. It's legit, and it's making changes in people's brains and bodies and ways to communicate in their own community. And it's cool because after, like with therapy, you talk and then you stop going to therapy. Whereas with this, you do your 8-week program, and then you can surf the rest of your life, and you have a community to do it with. And so it's a lifetime practice of self-love and sea-love and sisterhood.
So my relationship with Eric started, I used to start going to Thailand just to get away from shit really, and use it as an excuse as a training camp very early on in my career, because that was the done thing, going away for fight camps. And then while I was in Thailand, Dean Amazinga, another one of my coaches, suggested that I go and hit up Eric at Phuket Top Team. few years back now, three years ago. So yeah, I went along, and then from day one, just started training with Eric and never turned back really. We've trained all over the world. We've trained in Australia, trained in Thailand, trained in America. So I haven't really got any loyalty to a gym, more my coaches. So I've got my own coaching team, all from different gyms. Part of Eric being a good coach, he can identify what works with people, what works with his students, what's holding them back, what's wrong. And he soon identified, obviously, the mental factor for me was huge, massive, important. And then, you know, as we become friends and closer, and we had conversations and stuff, obviously we spoke about me having PTSD and my upbringing and stuff like that. I've had a lot of psychiatric help and treatment and stuff, which hasn't really helped, because you're talking to people that don't know where you come from, don't know your background. They genuinely come from really good upbringings, you know, really like silver spoon type background. And with Eric, he's not a psychiatrist, but because, you know, he's been sober for like 15 years. He grew up on the streets of New York. He was a junkie, he was a pisshead. Do you know what I mean? He's been there and done it all, and he's come out the other side. So I can listen to someone like that. You know, someone say, I know where you're coming from. Well, you actually do know where I'm coming from. So I can listen to Eric, and you know, and he knows where I'm coming from, and he just identified that with me, training the mind is as important as training the body. If my head's with it, I'll fight anyone on earth. So yeah, that's something we work on massively. So, you know, I'm out here in San Diego training at the gym, yeah, but we're also every day working on my approach to the fight mentally. Motherfucker's about to get choked.
Good, Terry, you're looking good, buddy. You're looking good. As long as you're moving, you're good. No, we're pushing away. Don't hold him on top of you. Get his head off you. Remember, we're gonna get his head off you. Knees in between, try to kick off. Kick off. He's holding on for dear life, Terry. Don't panic, don't get frustrated, right? Have a good time down there. Let's go, explode. Explode, I need you to move a little bit. Get your knees in between you and him. Get his head off you. You're holding his head on you. Stay low the whole round now, okay? You won the first round.
Yeah.
Second round could have gone either way, but we have to win the third round.
It smells so good.
It is. Keep doing you, Tyler. Up, +1, change level. Don't get too tall, stay low, jab at the chest now. Jab at his belly. Keep jabbing at his belly. That's what I'm talking about. Don't get tall. Yeah, right there. Same stance as the Alex fight. Over the top. Change level after that. Nice. Change levels, Terry. Finish with a kick. 2+1 outside. 2+1 outside. Cut him off, cut him off. Press, 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 Terry. Don't give, you're letting him off the gas now. Get off the fence. Change your level. Turn the corner. Hands together. Come on the back. Punching, 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 Terry. Nice job. Good. Finish that, finish that. The jaw is just as good as the neck. Don't squeeze your arms out. Come on top. Good. Stand up, stand up, stand up, Terry. Get out of there, stand up. Good. Let's fight. That's it, Tyler. Grab your nutsack. Let's go. Terry, you gotta grab yours, son. Grab your balls. Tyler, push him, push him. If he wants to give you the round back, that's fine. Get underneath that, Tyler. Don't walk straight in, get underneath there. Deep breath, Terry, don't bitch it now, just because you're ahead.
Don't wait for him, Terry. You first slows the whole thing down.
Hit that roll, hit that roll, hit that roll, hard, hard, hard. As he postured up, because he didn't like this, you kicked him in the chest.
Yeah.
Boom, he's off. Yeah. That's how we need to escape that position. So Tyler, in order to like mitigate that, stand over him. Stand over him. Right? Look, if I don't want, like you start pushing me off here, start pushing me off. Pull. Now all that is bring it to the middle. Yeah, bring it to the middle. Now all that shit's useless.
Like my feedback is like, in a real fight, you know you're pinning me down. It's easier to make space in a real fight because you can get fucking nasty. And it makes you sort of, when you're super tight, you're not hitting me, but I can even just like tapping you or elbowing you.
But all you're doing is you're getting super tight. You're holding on, like I gotta hold him here. Right? It's a state of panic almost. So positionally you're winning, but mentally you're panicking.
This is what we've been working on, isn't it? Exactly the same. I do it in my fight, take people down.
Let's rep out. I want you to get 5 reps of elbow escape from all those bad positions. Then I want you to get 5 reps of bringing it back to the middle. Okay? 5 reps, 5 reps.
That's money.
Comes back in, yeah. Kick him. Or triangle. Oh, if you win like that, I want 50%.
I want a fucking blue belt.
If you win, but yeah, I'll give you a blue belt and you give me 50%.
if I beat, he's not making sure the fist comes out. You know, if I get in that triangle, I'm just going to let go.
Fuck this. Just chin me.
Oh, mate. No, I deserve it. I beat a couple of black belts, brown belts in the cage. So, like, if I beat him by submission, I want a promotion, man.
Then you got to do it Diaz mode, mate, once you get him.
Mate, Bellator are finding people for that now. You know the MVP fight? Got like proper told off for it and all that, like commission thing and all that, I think. Because he was taunting, but people love that. It's entertainment business.
Look, fighters aren't fucking role models, dude. They're not. They fight in a cage. That doesn't mean they're good people. They're usually fucked up people. Yeah. Some of them are good, some of them are great, some of them are fucking shitty. Like, you need villains.
For sure.
Right? No, that's why one will never, ever, ever be a success. Yeah. Because they want 2 heroes in a fight. So there's no story in 2 heroes fighting each other. You need villains,
sure, yeah.
Right? So no, I don't want to watch, oh, this guy grew up from poverty and this guy is making money. I don't want either of them to lose then. But I'm not invested in that. You tune in to watch the scumbag lose, right? You tune in to watch the bad guy lose. I bet 75% of people that tune into Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather fights are tuning in to watch them lose, hoping that they get fucking knocked to death.
It's hard, it's like you don't know what they want. This is the thing, like, I've been told to rein it in, where I've said stuff on social media and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, what do you want? Like, one person does it, and you promote the fact that they're doing it, and then they pick and, do you know what I mean? Like, they don't, there's no logic behind what they want from you, do you know what I mean? Like, in the end, I've just given up, like, I'm like, whatever, like, just concentrating on my fighting for now. And whatever comes out, comes out. Like, sort of, I went through a stage where it's like, you need to do something, you need to be a voice, you need to fucking act the idiot, you need to do something to get noticed now, because it's not about the best fighters. The best fighter is some fucking crazy Russian geezer that no one's heard of, and they trash everyone.
If you fucking win fights, you get noticed. Like, forget all that, man. You win fights, like, no one can argue with a winner.
if they knew the real shit. I think the trouble is, a lot of them know the real shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, they know what I'm about. Like,
well, they know, but they don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If they really knew, you wouldn't have a job.
Or a woman.
Yeah.
So, I need to be told what to do and reined in where I need to be reined in and stuff like that. And the day I got here, it's like, right, let's go for a coffee and I'm going to tell you what I expect of you in this camp. Do you know what I mean? Because in previous camps, it's been a fucked up couple of years. My mum died, split up with my wife. Do you know what I mean? Loads of crazy shit. you know, obviously apart from my mum dying, it's all in my own doing. Do you know what I mean? I was making life hard for myself during fight camps, and it's bullshit, and it was definitely taking its toll. I'd turn up to training sometimes, and they'd be like, oh, he's like, go home, get out of the gym, like, and I'd be like, no, I want to be here. But it's like, you can't because you're fucking, you turn up like a retard, basically. So it was just like, look, no women, no bullshit. No arguing, do you know what I mean? And with women, I'm a missus, so and it's been sweet. It's just been about training, and it's noticed that I feel so good. I feel so focused.
Last camp was a disaster. Was it? Yeah, like he trained well. Like in a lot of the days, like we were going up to your guys' gym up in Nottingham, and things were going well, but it was just like he was all like fight week, like just distracted. I won't say what he was doing fight week just to not put anybody in a bad position, but but yeah, it was just like his mind was not on fighting that week, and he was a nervous wreck in the locker room, and you know, luckily went out and performed well, but like, yeah, it was to the point where I was like, do I call this guy out on his bullshit this close to fight week, or do I let it ride? And I made the choice to kind of just step back and let it ride. Looking back, I probably should have pulled the reins in. I probably should have been a little bit firmer with him, but just that amount of stress going on, it's like I didn't want to kind of push him over the edge, like with another thing, like it caused more stress in his life. So who knows, hindsight's 20/20, but I just made it a point, like this camp, fight week, I'm the boss. You will do what I tell you to do, otherwise we're not doing this. And fight camp, you will do what you're told to do, which he generally does in fight camp anyway, but fight week, the stress gets high, and he'll go back to some old habits sometimes that are distractions, you know, just stuff that's not necessary, driving like a fucking lunatic and endangering everybody on the road. I think he gets so distracted fight week, like, and then like the fight turns up and it's, oh shit, the fight's here, you know? And so what he said to me in the past was, well, I don't like to think about it because like it just stresses me out. And my response to that this last time was, this time you're gonna think about it and you're gonna learn how to deal with the stress, right? So it's all about how we deal with the stress, what we're telling ourselves, like why am I carrying the stress? What am I telling myself? Is my identity like on the line here, right? Am I gonna, am I protecting a certain view of myself that I need to that if that gets jeopardized, I'm not gonna love myself, or I'm not gonna like it, or people aren't gonna love me or like me anymore. And I think that's a large part of what happens with guys, is they're maintaining an identity, and if that identity gets tarnished or crumbled in any way, they don't know who they are anymore, and oftentimes it feels like you want to die, because you do feel like you died. You feel like your identity died, like the sense of who you are gets compromised, and you feel like your life's in danger, and because, well, your identity and your life, we often like associate the two as the same thing, even though they're not, right? You'll go on just fine. If a bad thing happens and you lose a fight, like nothing happens, the world goes on fine. Like fighting's really not that important in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I think these guys just carry a tremendous amount of identity and ego with them into the fight, and to the level that you're attached to that is the level of stress that you're gonna, and especially if you can't compartmentalize it. Like some guys have all that, but they can compartmentalize it when it's time to compete. They know how to compete. Right? And competing is just putting that stuff to the side, getting myself centered that there's a job to get done, right? And I'll worry about all that other shit later, but right now my job is to focus on this fight second by second, minute by minute. If you're caught up in the results, like you see guys that they're scared to lose, right? Or they just want to win, well, you're already at the result, you're at the finish line, right? You can't be at the finish line and be in the present moment at the same time. It's not possible. Right? So you almost have to let the results, kind of throw those in the air and say, I'm going to focus, because the only thing you have control over is your effort, right? So I'll focus my control over my effort in this second right now, not the next minute, not the next round, but this second right now. And then it's second by second, minute by minute, and now so the more present you are, now that doesn't even guarantee you're going to win. You can get knocked the fuck out like that, right? But what you're doing is putting yourself in the best position to have the best performance possible. And that's all you can ask for. How can I put myself in the best position to have the best performance possible, right? Like, the other guy wants to win too, right? The other guy wants to win too. The other guy probably worked hard too, right? The other guy.
You said like before the last fight, you don't care if I lose if I give 100%. But if I win and don't give 100%, it'd be more disappointed. Do you know what I mean? So it's not about winning, isn't it? It was like, yeah, you won, but you didn't really perform.
The morning after with coffee after he fucking came to from the after party, and we went and had a coffee, and I fucking laid into him a little bit. I just said, yeah, man, like you can do better.
It's over. The niceness went
the niceness out the window. Like, you can do better than that, man. That's like, I wasn't satisfied with that win just because I know what he's capable of. Even right now, like this is the best camp we've had so far as learning wise, and a lot of it to do with him mitigating the external stress factors that don't need to be there has helped, but I still know he's capable of more, right? And I'm just like that, man. I want to get the most out of these guys, maybe sometimes to a fault where it fucking makes everybody anxious, but yeah, I just see what's possible and I want to get there. That's cool. And I know he can get there, and it's still a work in progress, but I'm like super excited about this fight in particular. Like, it can go a lot of ways. This guy's a tough guy and he'll show up to fight, but I feel like it's Terry's fight. Like, it's Terry's fight to lose, you know what I mean? Like, he's only gonna lose if he gives this fight away, you know? If he does the things right that he's supposed to do right, and barring any fucking craziness, I think he walks away with an impressive victory. So that's awesome. Pretty excited.
I'm probably under 80 kilos. Just felt eyes burning me. Yeah. Well, I weigh myself now, but it's not an accurate weight because obviously I've drunk water, I've eaten breakfast, I've trained. Probably about 81. I need to be 70 kilos, but I need to start fight week at 77. So that's doable. They said, what will Eric say if he finds out like you're eating bad and all that? I said, he don't care if I walk in fight week at 82 kilos because he'll hold me in the bath until I make weight.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. He can die in there for all I care. Well, as long as I get my 10%.
So 174. 79.2. Wow. That's really, really, really good. Really good. Well happy. Let's go eat some shit. See, it's that In-N-Out burger the other night. Boosted that fucking metabolism. No, I don't know about that. But no, that's good. Like, it's inaccurate because I don't know how much I've sweated, how much, but I've eaten breakfast, I've drunk litres of water. I can't imagine I've sweated more than 2 litres out, do you know what I mean? Really good. So tomorrow morning I won't eat or drink. I'll drive down to the gym as soon as I wake up, weigh myself, then I'll have an accurate. So I'll let you know tomorrow if we get In-N-Out burger. Definitely up for the Vegas. I bought a condemned house. No windows, no electric, no plumbing, nothing, no floors, no ceilings, all fallen through, rotted inside and all that, and then just redone it. It's a big white house at the end of the road, stands out like a sore thumb. Gates, railings, security dogs, security cameras. Bait. Yeah. You're saying you're coming down for the weight cut, isn't it? Design the whole house.
I know, right?
So, you know, there's, like there's a bit in the museum, in the Imperial War Museum. I'm a bit of a feature in the Imperial War Museum in London. Yeah. So we went out one day on patrol, got contacted. So we don't call them snipers, we call them sharpshooters, but they're firing shit rifles and they're fucking amazing. They're fucking snipers, but you know, we're not allowed to call them snipers. Basically, they're snipers. Anyway.
Why aren't you allowed to call them snipers?
Because they say they're not sniper trained. But they're fucking running around in flip-flops with fucking rifles and they're still pinging people. Do you know what I'm saying? They're the best soldiers. You know what I mean? They're the best soldiers. Hey, you're running around, you're fighting. We got all the kit, right? All the gear. And they're running around in flip-flops and no one's ever defeated them. Do you know what I'm saying? They're soldiers, bro. Anyway, so I was a machine gunner, so my job is to cover everyone else getting to safety. So we got contacted, so I'm like laying on the floor, like 200 meters over there, there's like a tree line, I'm firing, like keeping them, when I'm firing they're not, do you know what I mean? So
everyone else like run behind the compound. But every time I went to move, or someone, like one of my guys, like come from behind the compound to cover me, then so every time like one of my guys come out from behind the compound to cover me to withdraw, like they would shoot the wall, so they couldn't cover me. So I ended up stuck out in the open behind a little mound of mud, and these shots were pinging, and my backpack was on with my ammunition and my water container in, and anyway, it all stopped. I ended up actually, I had it on helmet camera. I had one belt left. I ended up standing up, like doing a Rambo, all on camera, right, on the helmet camera. I was laughing, but not because it was great, because I was shitting, giggling. And anyway, long and short of it is, I started trying back and I was sucking my water, no water left. I'm like, what the fuck? When I got back, look, I had 3 holes that had obviously gone past my head because it was hitting the mud in front of me. And if it wasn't hitting the mud in front of me, it was just going over me. It was hitting my bag, and I had holes in my bag, in my camel pack, and my day sack. I've actually got the day sack. When you come around my house, I'll show you the day sack. It's got 3 holes in it from when the bullets were that close. No fucking shit, boys. They put a piece in like the newspaper, in the museum in London, all that shit.
So, how did you get out of it?
After I stood up and let rip, it all just stopped, and then we called in mortars or an airstrike. But it all just stopped because they stopped either out of respect, or the likelihood is I didn't hit them because I'd give it fucking Rambo. More likely they run out of ammunition, or they stopped out of respect because you stand up and you're giving it like a warrior. Do you know what I mean? They have that fucking mad mentality, don't they? So who knows? Million situations, million scenarios. But I honestly believe it's your time to go. It's your time to go. And yeah, I feel like I'm on extra time. I'm definitely on extra time. Anything now that I do in life is extra. And that's why I can enjoy it to the max. Like, you know, some people look at me like, you know, coach, and people like that, like, oh, you know, stop doing mad shit and all that, but it's me. If I'm not doing that, I don't feel like I'm living. I'm existing. I don't want to exist, I want to live. And I'd rather live till I'm 35. Put it this way, if I died on the way to the fucking airport, everyone will go to my funeral and be like, he's a G and he lived a sick life. And I'm 33. I've been to people's funerals, my mum's funeral, and I'm like, I wish she had done more. She was 58. Do you know what I'm saying? So, in that respect, fuck everyone. I do what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? And I'm gonna live my life how I want to live it. If I have to do a little stretch inside or get injured, then that's up to me. But you know, I live my life how I want to live it to the max. And you know, I either grow old and miserable on my own, and I'll sit there and giggle to myself and be like, I had the fucking best time. Do you know what I mean? Or you know, I might be skint in 5-10 years time, but at least I can look back and be like, I've been there, I've done it, done the crazy shit, I've blown the fucking month's wages in Vegas in a night. Do you know what I mean? Like, and what? It's good memories. You don't take money to the grave, you take memories, right? And no one goes, oh, do you remember that money he had? They go, oh, do you remember when he done that? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's me. A legacy is more important than money, to be honest. So yeah. That's why I'm a crazy fool.
There's something that always sticks in my mind, and it took me back to being in the army. I love the army. It's really strange because growing up, I didn't have any discipline. No one could discipline me. I didn't have anyone that I aspired to or looked up to. I didn't like authority. But then when I joined the army, I like praise. I work off praise a lot, and in the army, if you do well, you get praise. You get screamed and shouted at to do well, but once you do well, you get the praise. So, you know, that really helped me in the army. And then when I remember training with Eric, and I was just putting it on one of the guys that really I shouldn't have been putting it on, maybe. And he's like, "Let's go, Terry Brazier! Yes, Terry Brazier! Yes, Terry Brazier!" And he just got super excited, and the way he talks to me like one of my sergeants in the army. Is very much like it just stuck with me, and it works with me, and you know, the way he screams and shouts and gets excited is really works, and yeah, so he gets the best out of me by speaking to me like that. So they have worked coaches of come and gone. Obviously, Dean Amazinger took me from a very dark place, started me off in MMA. I was like suicidal, just left the army, just got chucked out of the army. Didn't have any direction in life, and Dean saved me. Dean and MMA saved me initially. You know, and as time's gone on, Dean's gone on his career, is now in China, running the head of the UFC over there. And you know, I've found Eric. I've gone more sort of down the route of training with Eric. I've got Eddie Cohn, who is my jiu-jitsu coach in England. I've got striking coaches, Gregor, who's my new, again, like, so I haven't got rid of any coaches. Like, I used to train with Kenny originally. Dean used to train with Kenny when Dean fought. So I thought, well, I don't want diluted information. So I went and trained with Kenny direct in Brighton. Then I was like, oh, okay, Nico Shipshack and Paul Daly and all them boys go to Eddie Cohn for their jiu-jitsu. So I'll just go directly to Eddie Cohn. So I haven't got a gym, I go to coaches all over. Over time, like Kenny's is a 2-hour journey down there to train for an hour for a 2-hour journey back. So it's a 5-hour day in a fight camp. That's not feasible. So I've actually started training with one of my teammates, Gregor, who's a really good striking coach in Windsor. So I've built on the team. I haven't got rid of anyone. The team's just built, and everyone finds their place. I've got a boxing coach, Russell Abrams, Muay Thai coach, Ken Shiro. Gregor is like my overall MMA striking coach, and then I've got Eddie, my jiu-jitsu coach, and Eric, who puts it all together and puts the mental aspect onto it and makes it all work. So yeah, I haven't got rid of any coaches, and we'll just built the team really. And anyone that doesn't want to get on board can leave. Do you know what I mean? It's my ship. Do you know what I mean? Like Eddie Cohn says a perfect thing. He's like, I'm the sailor on my own ship. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be told by any coaches who I should or shouldn't be training with. Like, it's a relationship, isn't it? So, you know, I spend more time with my coaches than I do my family. Do you know what I mean? So the relationship needs to work. And I've got a really good relationship.
My name's Eric Uresk. I am currently the wrestling and grappling coach, and really assistant coach at Alliance MMA. So Alliance MMA is where I spent most of my fight career with Eric Del Fiero at that gym. And I was, just prior to that, I was head coaching out in Phuket, at Phuket Top Team. And I just kind of, I felt like I had reached kind of the pinnacle of what I could do in Phuket as far as growth-wise, and I feel like I needed to make myself a little bit more uncomfortable and try some greater challenges. And so I just really felt moved to come back to San Diego. I just felt, yeah, called. It sounds strange, but yeah, I just felt called to come back to San Diego, and just there was a mission for me to do here. So yeah, I move around a lot. I find I get a lot of inspiration from traveling, meeting different people, different environments, different settings, different challenges. When I go someplace new, I gotta kind of like figure everything out, and I seem to thrive on that. It's what I've been doing kind of like my whole life. And yeah, Terry and I were thinking about opening up a gym, and I just didn't want to be nailed down anywhere. Like the ultimate goal for me, as I'm starting to try to create more of an online presence, I've got some newsletters working, and eventually I'm going to be creating more like paid content, and I want to be able to travel and just bring my guys wherever I'm at. They can come do camp with me wherever we feel like we want to be at that time, you know. That's the ultimate goal, is to not be nailed down anywhere. And yeah, I like Terry and Stafford, we've been together on like 4 continents now. You know, like we've been in Asia, we went to Australia together to fight and train, obviously the UK, and now here in San Diego in California. So it's been pretty cool. I met Terry in Phuket. I think Dean Amazinger might have messaged me, who I had met here in San Diego through Ross Pearson. So Ross and I were training partners, sparring partners for a long time, and Ross used to work with Dean. Dean had come out, and actually Dean and I cornered Ross when he fought Diego Sanchez, and that's what Dean and I kind of hit it off for that fight. Ross got robbed pretty bad in that fight, if you guys remember. And so yeah, I think he sent me a message like, I got a friend coming down, just take care of him. So he comes in and wants to book a couple privates, and I'm like, all right, cool. And he was pretty fucking terrible at the time, and but he was like game, so I was like, all right, you know, like whatever, it's Dean's guy, I'll take care of him. And it was like right before the Walter Gahadze fight, so you know, all I'm looking at is like technically just he's all over the place. You know, I don't know anything about like how game he is or how tough he is. And he goes out and fucking bulldog chokes Walter, and I can't take any credit for that, obviously, but he just was like, oh shit, this guy's pretty tough. And so then he came back out, and I think he did a couple more privates, but was training at AKA because they were sponsoring him, and I felt like, man, I'd like to work with this guy more. So I was like, man, don't worry about like the money, I'll take care of that part, just come and train with the team. And he started coming and training with the team, and training with me really. And yeah, we stopped doing private lessons, and I was just like, look man, like I'll train you for your fights, and you know, we'll work out what normally happens with coaches and fighters. I'll take a percentage, and you know, come what may from there. And so that's kind of where we started with that. And then I'd say we worked real hard for the Alex Lahore fight, and camp had gone well, and he fought well. And I think it was in that trip, like, you know, just I had gone out quite a bit before, maybe almost like 2 weeks before, I felt like. And yeah, we just started getting kind of close after that, and like the relationship started to change when he started to come out like for stretches of time outside of fights, and we like kind of grow him as a fighter. And like really just now is my vision for where I wanted to bring him like coming to fruition. So no one has seen like what my vision is for him, except if you've been in the gym in the past couple weeks.
Has that been a tough transition?
It's been a long transition, and tough. Yeah, it's been tough. There's been, you know, a lot of setbacks with injuries, and just life gets in the way. He's got a crazy, hectic schedule sometimes, and you know, he's got a lot going on, and sometimes it's, you know, it could be, you know, keeping him focused can be a challenge outside of fight camps. You know, I think he's the kind of guy that needs a challenge put in front of him to really buckle down. You know, he's a wild man, so so yeah, it's just kind of learning. It's like riding a bull. Don't want him to not be a bull, but just got to kind of steer him a little bit. I don't want him to become a kitten, right? But at the same time, I don't want him to just be completely reckless at the same time, right? I look at PTSD a little bit differently than a lot of people, and I do a lot of research on, because I'm working on myself all the time. Like even like as we sit here today, like as soon as we're done with this interview, I'm going to do more personal. I'll probably sit here for another hour or two doing work just on myself and the stuff that I have going on. PTSD, they look at it as a disorder, right? So post-traumatic stress disorder. I look at it as a post-traumatic stress response, right? So it's a response to stress that Terry was ill-equipped to handle. I don't believe people are doomed for life by post-traumatic stress disorder. Not by, I don't care how severe it is. It's any kind of stress can be good if we have the ability to recover from it, right? So if working out is a stress, it's a physical stress, right? Now, if I put 400 pounds, right, or like 200 kilo on a bench and try to get you, it's gonna crush your chest, and you're not gonna recover from that stress, right? So you weren't equipped to handle it, and you weren't equipped to recover from it. So you're gonna be fucked up from that, right? Now, let's say I put maybe, whatever, 60 kilos, and I start letting you get sort of acclimated to moving 60 kilos around. You'll be sore the next day, right? But you'll eat a good meal. You'll get some rest. You do the proper things to recover from that stress, and you come out stronger, right? So that's what I try to kind of do with Terry, right? I try to nourish him in the right ways so that he could sort of start to come back and look at those things in a different way. It's being able to shape the perspective in a healthy way that these things don't own him anymore. And not to say that I can cure him or anything like that. I just try to help him guide himself to healthier perspectives. I can't give anybody an answer. I don't have answers for anybody, right? I can have hunches and inklings, and I tried to do my best to guide him to finding his own answers. I can't say, Terry, don't do this, right? It's like, well, why not, right? And the thing is, he's gonna do it because that's who he is, right? He might try not to do it, and then he's gonna do it. Whatever little vices he's got, he'll do them. Until he sees, oh, you know what, this isn't working for me anymore. This is no longer actually benefiting me, right? So, in my experience, no one does anything without like a perceived benefit, right? Whatever we do, we perceive a benefit. There's going to be some sort of outcome we think is good, otherwise we wouldn't do it, right? So people are going to do things as long as they perceive a benefit from them. The moment they stop perceiving a benefit and start seeing this as maybe harmful or counterproductive, now there's an awareness, and they're still not going to stop doing it, right? Usually that awareness starts a process, and once that process is started, slowly, hopefully, new behaviors start to replace the old one, and then you have a new perspective. One day you wake up and you just look at life differently, and something that used to own you doesn't own you anymore. And obviously, I'm sort of cutting it down and stripping it down into its most basic form, but it gets a little bit more involved in that, and obviously there's steps in between. But yeah, that's the best way I could sort of cliff note it.
Yeah, so the only time since I've been training martial arts, I've had to use it. I've had to use it once. And it's strange because before I started fighting MMA and training MMA, I used to fight every week. I used to be out in my car, road rage, fighting in the pubs, had this big thing to prove. Literally from the day I've started up until this present day, I've had to use it once. And it was at a friend's, a friend of a friend's birthday. I looked down in a pub, and there's these 5 guys, he's fighting with these 5 guys. So I've jumped off the balcony in this restaurant and sort of like split this fight up, and I've got him, and they've realised that, you know, there's a big crowd of us, like he's all his family, it wasn't all blokes, it was all like women and family and stuff. So I pulled him away, they've chucked these guys out, and he's like, I've got my arm around him, and he's like slipped back on me, and gone chasing these guys outside, and I'm like, God, I don't get beaten up, I don't give a shit. So my missus at the time was like, oh, go and get him, because he was going out of her sister, as one of them. So I've walked out the pub, as I walked out the pub, one of them's glassed him. There was like 5 of them. Where I've gone chasing him, I've sort of almost run into this group of guys, and they've surrounded me, so they've glassed him, and then they've looked at me, and the first one that come, I remember I hit him like 4 or 5 times, I just went ding, 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 ding. I think the first shot knocked him out, and then every time I hit him, cut his face. So by the time he hit the floor, it looked like Wolverine had fucking done him across the face. And like, that was a big shock for me, like, shit, fighting someone that, when you're skilled and they're not, it was a big shock. But as he hit the floor, the guy who I like was saving, all his family, and like, it was his birthday, and like my ex and all that come out of the pub, and my ex's parents, this geezer's laying on the floor, looked like Wolverine slashed him up, and they all looked at me and had a go at me like, what have you done? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What do you want me to do? Come out and fucking give him a hug? They just glassed him. Do you know what I mean? So that's the only time, and that was enough for me to shock me, thinking it's too dangerous, way too dangerous. And you know, and I'm mature enough now, just like, I'll laugh at someone, you know, it's just not worth it. Not a problem for me, but a problem for you. I'll be a fucking problem for Soren. No fucks given. This is some fucking like meat place for a fight, isn't it? When I was a kid, we used to meet up under a railway bridge like this.
Did you?
Yeah, bigger than this. And one come from one side, one come from the other, and just have it. How deep is it? Huh? It's not that deep. Woo! So obviously going in there with the cold water and shit and just stretching the muscles out. It's good in between training. Good to take the focus off all the fight camp and the fight. Hold recovery. Peaceful mind. Ready to get back at it at 5 o'clock. Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah. Put me on that turning machine on. Thank you.
And I have to put his stuff out too. Your stuff up. So everything you need is gonna be in here.
Okay, cool.
It gets your fingers and your toes like towards the end. I got to do one in England. It's an electric one. So I'm standing there for 5 minutes and it doesn't really get you, but this really gets you. It's like minus 220, right? It just makes me feel good after it. Like flushes, good for my recovery. Like I think it like flushes all my system. I guess I don't know. I just get told it's good for me, so I do it. What does it do? What does it actually do?
Yeah, can you explain to me a little bit about what it does?
So you're gonna be in negative 220 degrees. You're gonna go in here, and it's all cold air, so it's like completely breathable. So what it does is it actually lowers your core temperature. So basically you're in really cold air. Wait. So basically
the pressure. I know the pressure. She's like, don't film me.
Okay, so basically you're in there. Your body's about to get into hypothermia, so naturally your body is trying to maintain its natural core temperature. Then when it does that, it's fighting to release a bunch of endorphins, adrenaline, dopamine, and also collagen. And that also has an anti-inflammatory response, which helps him recover better.
So does it help your body recover like everything, muscles? Yeah.
That's where I really feel it, in my muscles and my lower back as well. So like after training where I feel like I've got swollen, like because my discs, I've got like 2 bulging discs. So I've been going in here like pretty much every other day for the whole camp. Just to get that inflammation out. And then we go to like the red light. I get red light because I had shoulder surgery obviously. So I get like red light therapy on my shoulder and then compression boots on my legs as well. But your experience there is cool. It's cool.
Sick.
There's no hiding from that.
How you feeling?
Warm? No. There's no hiding from that. It's horrible. It's really cold. When my shorts were damp from training, they went hard. I swear it's the short. Let's go, it's your turn.
Yeah, alright.
We've got to try it.
I said, wow, what a copy. Okay. I want it to look nice if you're going to video it.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
You're in it, so it'll look lovely.
No. I look cool. You should have told
Do you like the
me.
English charm?
Huh?
Do you like the English charm?
What's the English charm?
You know, we come out of things like that, you know, like cheekiness. Like, it's going to look great because you're in it. You know?
I don't know.
What do you call that? What do they call it over here? Sleazy. There's a fine line between charming and sleazy. It's called looks.
I feel like a lot of girls like it.
But you don't.
I don't get fazed by it.
No.
Sorry. This is disappointing.
Yeah.
Alright.
Highly disappointed. Thought I was getting somewhere. Okay.
I think... I don't like like this thing. Wait, can you see this part? I'm probably gonna plug in the light then.
Yeah.
So what's this part now?
So basically, it's like red light therapy, and obviously because I had my shoulder surgery, sort of just trying to keep up, and trying to stop it getting so injured. I had my PRP in London before I come here, like the plasma-rich blood treatment, and then whilst I've been here, I've been getting like the red light therapy, and it just encourages like recovery and stuff like that. So with the cryo and the red light, just doing everything I can really, and they've got it all here, so it's all good.
Can you plug that in real quick? Right there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave this right here. And where do you want to boost?
Just my uppers will do.
The upper? And it'll be 30 minutes.
Then in a fight, Reece McKee fight, literally tore the ligament off the bone, won the fight, and went into surgery that Monday. Got it fixed. But then I tore it again recently.
What did you actually have done? They fused it back?
Yeah, so they pulled the ligament back onto the bone and bolted it on basically, like two anchors in my shoulder.
Yeah. Do you want to watch TV?
Yeah, I can do.
Yeah, whatever. How often do you do this then?
Every other day?
Every other day?
Yeah. Well, pretty much. I try and get in there every other day. To be fair, but since the last couple of days have been really busy, so haven't been in. But yeah, try and get in there. Like it's definitely after sparring and shit like that.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah. It's nice to have it.
Good.
This chair is so good as well. It takes the pressure off my lower back. So I'm just like. It's always good to see Victoria.
You usually come in the mornings though, no? You usually come in.
Yeah, sometimes I come in the mornings. It depends. Yeah, so on sparring days I come like after sparring. I feel like getting the recovery before it sets in. Do you know what I mean? Like before you start aching, it goes tight and shit.
Does it help with that a lot?
Yeah. Because like sparring, like you're pushing your heart and your body to like redline. You literally redline your body in sparring because you're basically fighting. You're imitating fighting 2-3 times a week. So after that, and the lactic acid and all stuff like that. So when you come here, it just flushes it all out. It helps. Definitely helps. In England, just haven't got it. Go home and have a hot bath, right? That's, you know, with Epsom salts. That's what I do in England.
They don't have this?
I think like they must have somewhere. I think they're in the universities and stuff like that. They haven't they? Wicked.
December, I'm gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna be here in December.
No, back in
How long
January.
are you staying in January?
Probably for a month.
You stayed here for a month.
Yeah. I've been here for like over a month now. Yeah. So I'm back January. But you got me on Instagram anyway, yeah?
Yeah.
Hit me up.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
So I'm three weeks out, well, 2.5 weeks out now. Fly back to England on Friday. So I've got 2 more sparring sessions, a few more drilling sessions left. Then I get back to England. I've got to lose about another 25 pounds in weight in the last 2 weeks. So I'll probably fast at the weekend on my flight back. Get back to England, I'll have 2 weeks. Have another week of training and dieting, and then the last week I'll just be dieting, making sure I make weight. now my head's in the right place, and I'm fit, I'm ready to go. That's all I need. If I'm fit and my head is in the right place, that's all I need. I'm not going to learn anything new in the next 2 weeks. So we're good to go. Just need to get back to England, get the weight down, and turn up on the night.
How do you find the weight cut?
I find the weight cut fine. Obviously I follow Dean Amerzinger's protocol for weight cutting. Never found it a problem. Always made weight. It's a psychological thing. You know, if you whinge about it, not being able to eat this, not being able to eat that, it's going to be hard. If you know you can't eat that and that's that, then just stick to it. Like I fast a few times through camp. 36-hour fast. I think that helps, getting used to it. But yeah, I always make weight. So, touch wood. Been making weight this time. So, you know, to be honest, the Soren Bak fight was just a name that presented to me. The first name, my last fight before him, I got 4 names, and they kept dropping out. And as soon as they rung up, I'd say yeah, and I just said yes to all of them. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got a problem. I'm the best lightweight in Europe, and I will fight any lightweight in Europe. So you're not going to get a no out of me. 4th guy I ended up fighting, beat him, and then we got the phone call or the email. Wad got it saying, you know, fight Soren Bak. Said happy days. Never heard of him, didn't know anything about him. Looking into him, realises the 2-weight champion at Cage Warriors. It sort of makes sense because I was the 2-weight champion at Bama. So this is on paper for the best in Europe. That's the way I see it. What do I think of Soren Bak? I think he's boring. I think he needs to groom his beard. Looks like a fucking tramp. He needs some personality. But, you know, all that aside, you know, he's 12-1. He must have something about him. I can't really see it, to be honest. I think his biggest attribute is he stays calm, and that's why he can do plenty of 5-5s. But let's see if he can stay calm when I'm chomping at the bit, trying to rip his head off. Yeah, you know, his strongest attribute is his grappling. His black belt jiu-jitsu, I believe. He's very calm on the ground. Nothing is amazing. He stays calm and consistent. He's an opportunist, so he takes advantage of people being frantic like I am normally. So for him to look at my post-fights, I'm a perfect fight for him. He doesn't mind being taken down. He actually lets people take him down and then starts working on his way down. So to watch any of my previous fights, I'm a gift for him. He thinks I'm going to run into the cage, take him down, he can start working, and you know, that's when he's in his element, that's when he's at his strongest. You know, let him think that, because he's getting hands put all over him.
Yeah, so Terry's got a nice, he's got a nice path lined up in front of him. So me as a coach, I'm not looking anything past like the Soren Bak fight. Obviously the other things, they're enticing, it's exciting, but he looked past Bungard and you saw what happens, right? So we're not going to do that this fight. I feel like this is not Soren Bak's not a tough guy. He's beaten some really good guys. But I feel like this is Terry's fight to give away. Like, he's got to make mistakes to lose this fight. I don't think Soren can come out and beat him skill on skill or man on man. I really feel like Soren will be there for Terry to put hands all over and kind of showcase what we've been working on. But looking past that, yeah, I mean, obviously the Peter Queally fight's enticing. Peter beat Ryan Scope, which I did not see coming. Technically, I think Ryan Scope outclasses most of the Bellator Europe division. I think mentally, maybe he just struggled in that department. And I got a lot of, I love Ryan. Like, I've trained and worked with him in the past, and I hope he comes back from that. But I think that might have been one that Peter stole. But Peter's a guy that'll steal it. You know, he's tough, right? I don't think he's technically anything amazing. I think he's tough, he's durable, he'll keep coming. Maybe Ryan didn't just show up the way he wanted to that fight, and yeah, whatever happened, happened. I think that's an interesting fight. I think Terry and Queally is a fireworks fight. I think it's really interesting, and I wouldn't really look anything past that. Obviously, if we win that fight, there's some big things on the horizon after a big win like Scope for him, and then Terry will be on a bit of a streak after that. So yeah, it's some exciting things to look forward to, and but we got to take care of the job at hand, and we still got a few weeks before that. So I'm really not looking at anything past Soren Bak. I give the guy all the respect. That guy hangs around. I don't think he's technically very special at all. He's tough though, man. He just doesn't, his expression doesn't change, his pace doesn't change. He'll kind of wobble forward at you. He has flat-footed and poor as his movement is. He doesn't get tired. He seems to just stick around, and he's an opportunist, right? And that's the kind of guy that's dangerous, because Terry's got a lot of horsepower, but we got to use that horsepower correctly. You know, we can't be wasteful. And I think as long as we do those things correct, it'll be a good night. The mental game stuff is something that I work on with every fighter that I get close with. So like, there's fighters I just work with in the gym on a technical basis. We don't hang out outside the gym. We don't develop that closeness where they might want to start looking in that direction. If I start to really work with a fighter at a certain depth, what generally happens, and this is just a general thing, obviously Terry and I have a really close, we've become like brothers now, so it's sometimes it's I gotta find boundaries with that too, but just in general, I watch fighters, right, and I'll find situations that seem to look like, well, I'll see fear sort of come into their body, and I'll see a fearful reaction, or I'll just notice something that kind of seems off, where they're not as aggressive as maybe they normally be, or something troubles them, or I just get a sense that there's some fear around something. And once I get that, I start to ask why. And then it's really just a chain of questions and a lot of asking why and why and why. And sometimes it's not so much the position, it's things in their childhood, it goes a lot deeper. And it's just from personal experience. So I come from a not the best upbringing, you know, like I had a pretty tough childhood. I grew up on the street. I was homeless at 17. I was a junkie, robbing, stealing, doing burglaries, stick-ups, like whatever I could to survive. And I got sober when I was 23. I got off the street, got out of crime, got out of that life at 23. And I had been trying to get out of that life for a while, and I would do good for a few months, and then I'd sort of get dragged back in. Even after I had stopped drinking and doing drugs and getting involved with crime, mentally, all the things that drove me to do that, none of that changed, right? So I switched over to womanizing, you know, sex addiction, all that kind of stuff. I just kind of changed, sort of changed addictions, if you will, changed vices. Training became a vice, you know, where I was just training because I didn't know what else to do with myself a lot of the time. And I stayed a very unhappy person. My fight career was a complete failure because of it, because I was just mentally such a train wreck. And I had a lot of ability, like, you know, I had some early like write-ups and some magazines at the time, and people were expecting a lot of big things out of me, and I just mentally never just got there. You know, there's just you know, a lot of it was just fights getting canceled over and over again, and I really believe it was just my negativity at the time that brought all the poor circumstances. I take 100% accountability for that stuff. And so I got, you know, I started to look at life. It's like, okay, everything is good, like circumstance-wise. Like I live in beautiful places all the time, right? I usually, up until getting married just recently, like have, you know, girls, at least attractive women around me. I'm doing the things that I like. I'm living sort of this like rock star lifestyle. Why am I miserable, right? It's not the circumstances of my life. So what's the common denominator? It's me. So, and I started to have to take accountability for that. It's not anything else. It's not, I need more money. I don't need a different girl. I don't need a different job. I don't need to have my fight career back to do it all over again. I need to fix what's going on inside, because there's an internal condition that's causing me to be severely unhappy and to seek outside distractions constantly. And so once I started gaining at least a level of mastery around that for myself, it's very easy to see it in other people. Very, very easy to see in other people. Just having conversations with people. If I get to know somebody long enough, I can see what makes them tick pretty quickly. Sometimes it's a curse. It's almost like I can't turn it off. And you know, like growing up on the street, like I had to learn how to read people as well. Like when you're a con man and you're surviving, you know, off that kind of lifestyle, like you got to learn how to read people. So yeah, I understand people. I see their ticks and I could just feel it, and I just go with it, and it seemed, you know, the guys that like it seem to like it. Some people get completely turned off or scared by it, and I'm not the coach for them, and that's okay. Yeah. Best moments. Okay, so the Alex fight was big. It was just big for both of us. It was big for him. It was big for me. It was big for us professionally. Kind of got me on the map in the UK, and like obviously like I work with a lot of UK fighters now. It seems to be like my favorite people. Even living here in San Diego, I love it, but I love people from the UK. Like I feel like I've become like half part fucking English at this point. Even like in my head sometimes I talk in like English, especially once you guys start coming around. Yeah, that was, and even just recently, like this trip has been great. Like this trip, just really seeing him sort of, you know, put some of the personal stuff behind the you know, the things that I don't know, you know, what he's talked about with you guys, but he's had some real personal challenges. So I'll just say he's really kind of put a lot of things that were weighing him down behind him in a healthy way, and he seems to be putting his best foot forward, and he's having fun. He's really responding in the gym. Technically, he's starting to come on in a way. Like, watch his old fights. Just watch his last fight. And then forward to the footwork and the way he's moving now, it doesn't look like the same guy at all. Like, he's not heavy and clunky on his feet anymore. Just moving and light and having fun. And so, like, for me, this has been great. Yeah. And so the worst moment, the Bungard fight was tough, but obviously there's so much going on. He was on antibiotics like heavy up until maybe a couple days before the fight. Bad staph infection came. Like I arrived, the day I arrived, like yeah, I got a staph infection. I got to go to the hospital. I'm like fuck. Like I had no idea, you know, going into this. Probably shouldn't have taken this. Probably should have pulled out. Didn't. And. Yeah, I mean, it was what it was. I think that needed to happen. I think that needed to happen for a lot of different reasons, like we talked about the other day at the gym. But even more than that was just last camp was really tough. Even though he won the fight, last camp was tough. It was just like seeing him so just overwhelmed by personal problems and stress. And but I learned a lot from that. Like I learned like it's not my job to fix that shit. And I started getting overwhelmed myself. Like I got physically sick that trip. I was getting car sick, and I like I don't get car sick, but I was so overloaded with stress, feeling like I needed to fix his stress to get him to perform well. And that's, yeah, I learned like I can't do that. Like I really sucked the passion out of coaching for me, and that's not his fault. That's my fault. I was just taking. It was like got like kind of codependent where I felt like I needed to fix this for him, and like really I gotta allow him to learn from his mistakes, and I gotta be okay with the results the way I'm asking him to be okay with the results, right? So it's gotta be a two-way street. I can't tell you just, you know, put your effort in and leave the results to the side. Meanwhile, I'm stressing myself out over the results. It can't be like that, right? So if I can do that competitively, but as a coach, it's a little harder, right? Especially when you're so invested in somebody personally and professionally. That was challenging, but this time around, it's like, okay, if he's gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna let him know, like, this is my opinion on it, but go ahead and make that mistake, man. You gotta learn, you know. If it costs you a fight, it costs you a fight. That's like, what am I gonna do? You know, I can't drive myself crazy to the point of getting sick worrying about that, you know. It's fucking insane. Yeah, so it's Eric Uresk submission grappling. This is just my submission grappling that I take all over the world. It's a brand that I teach. It's simple, effective violence. It's if you've worked with me before, I'm not a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but my style of the grappling that I teach is not pure BJJ. It's really an amalgam of of wrestling, judo, sambo. I've trained in many grappling arts, catch wrestling. I've had a lot of different influences, and it's just something that I put all together. So yeah, this is just a representation of yeah, the grappling style, wrestling style that I like to bring to fighters, and you'll know my guys by the way that they handle business in the ring. You know, it's generally a strong, controlling, aggressive style, and yeah, and we're just getting started with this, man. I've got some other cool things in the works as far as brand stuff. Hopefully, I've been saying this forever, but really want to start getting a regular podcast going on, and under like the Eric the Gentleman banner, and getting some things going as far as that's concerned, and just you know, I don't want to coach fighters forever. Like, I really want to get into just like conversations like this and talking about the mental approach, because I feel like, well, yeah, I'm angling it towards fighters. I feel like it could be applicable to anybody, you know. So that's really the work that I want to end up in, is kind of doing that, and online and remotely, and just kind of traveling the world and learning and helping as many people as I can wherever I go. So that's my real dream. I don't want to be stuck in one location. California will probably be base, and then just be floating between Europe and Asia and all around, just kind of doing what I do, teaching. And I don't want to teach for money. I'd rather have enough money coming in and just teach, because that's what I like to do. I actually hate teaching for money. I love teaching. I hate when it becomes about the money. It just sucks all the passion out of it. So I'd rather do other things for money and just teach, because teach and train, because that's what I want to do, and teach who I want to teach when I want to teach them, you know.
Yeah, so obviously I'm part of the Full Reptile Collective. It's a wicked team. It's more than just a brand. You know, it's a lifestyle, I guess. And you know, having Dan Hardy as part of that, and you know, he also helps me coach as we get closer to the fight. He does his breakdown for my fighters and stuff like that, which, you know, if you're into MMA, you know how valuable that is, and there's no one better in the world to do that. And then obviously outside that, you got all the clothing brands, the coffees, and you know, everything that I love about life is within the Full Reptile. So and it's a great team. Obviously, my manager's part of it. Dean Amazinger, my coach, is part of it. Dan's part of it. The Raptors are part of it. So you know, for me, it's life. It's MMA life. Glad Daddy's home. We're going to beat some people up now. Yeah? Oh, that's well weird seeing him after this one. Camera shy. Yeah. Oh, bless him.